My name is Johnson Mwakazi.
From the dirty floors of Kibera to the bright lights of national television, from radio booths to boardrooms, Mwakazi's journey seemed like the embodiment of a dream realized.
I'm a television anchor, but my journey started here in Kibera.
But life kept changing, and with opportunity came risk, volatility, decisions, and setbacks. This is the story of Johnson Mwakazi, how he rose, how he fell, and where he stands now. A story of ambition, resilience, loss, and reinvention.
It's not about proving something. It's not about I will lose something. It's not about walking in fear. It's about knowing who you are, what you must become, and begin to live a life of dominion. Not because you have a good job, not because you have a good suit, not because you have that money, but just by being in Christ Jesus.
Johnson Mwakazi was born and raised in the slums of Kibera, Nairobi, the last born in a family of 7. His mother worked as a house help in Goodley Estate, earning a little monthly salary. The family faced tremendous hardship. His father was reportedly a chronic alcoholic who failed to provide. As a result, his mother bore the burden of supporting her children alone.
Welcome to the future. And it's happening here in Mombasa, too poor sight.
Life in Kibera was harsh. In interviews, Mwakazi recalled early memories, mud houses, having to buy water weekly, sometimes bathing once a week, a vivid picture of deprivation that shaped his early understanding of life's struggle. As a child and youth, he did various odd jobs, pushing carts, carrying water to sell, working construction, selling wares, all to help the family survive. He came from nothing, but in a young man's heart, sometimes nothing becomes hunger. Despite the hardships, Mwakazi attended Kibera Primary School, then proceeded to Jamhuri High School for his secondary education. When he completed high school, he qualified for university admission but lacked fees. His mother lost her job, and suddenly what looked like a path to tertiary education became possible. At that moment, many would have given up, not Mwakazi. Instead, he turned to his passion, acting. He joined theatre groups, performing at the Kenya National Theatre, hoping to earn a living with any opportunity that came. It was at the Kenya National Theatre that fate took on an unexpected turn. While acting, a talent scout or facilitator noticed his deep, eloquent voice and saw potential. That led to an opportunity as a voice-over artist for a newly emerging radio station under the umbrella of Royal Media Services. Mwakazi's first professional media job came at Hot 96 FM, a radio station owned by Royal Media Services, enabling him to finally put food on the table. His unique voice started gaining attention, not just among listeners, but industry insiders. That quality, combined perhaps with his charisma and drive, opened doors. In 2004, he applied and was accepted at Citizen TV, also under Royal Media Services. For many, this will be the dream, to become a national television face. For Mwakazi, it became a reality. Between 2006 and 2014, Mwakazi worked at Citizen TV, hosting various shows, most notably the popular morning show Power Breakfast on weekday mornings, as well as anchoring news bulletins. His unmistakable, deep voice became iconic. He wasn't just a face, he was the voice. That voice also became the pen behind end station promos and adverts. Meanwhile, defying his earlier educational setbacks, Mwakazi went back to school. In 2008, while working, he enrolled for a Bachelor of Arts in Communication at Daystar University. He balanced early morning shows, newsroom responsibilities, and evening classes, a demonstration of discipline and drive. He graduated in 2013, solidifying his academic credentials, proving to many that background need not define future. By then, Johnson Mwakazi had become a household name. His mornings shaped daily routines for many Kenyans. For a man from humble beginnings, this was nothing short of a meteoric rise. In May 2014, after over 8 years at Royal Media Services, Mwakazi left at what many considered the peak of his media career. According to reports, his decision was driven by a desire to grow further, to challenge himself beyond the relative comfort of an anchor's role. He joined a startup channel under Fountain Media Group. This was a wholesome TV. Mwakazi was appointed as the CEO, tasked with steering the station to success. He invested time, energy, hope, mornings to late nights, building from the scratch what would have elevated his career from presenter to media executive. He left certainty for possibility. He traded the anchor's chair for CEO's desk. The stakes had never been higher. Wholesome TV, which was launched around 2013 and under Mwakazi's leadership, was meant to be a new voice in Kenyan media, focusing on business, entrepreneurship, and corporate content. But by late 2016, operations had become unsustainable. The channel struggled to attract strategic investors. Advertisers lacked confidence or did not commit. Programs were criticized for poor quality. Revenue was insufficient to keep operations rolling. In December 2016, Wholesome TV was shut down. Over 50 employees lost their jobs, including Mwakazi. For someone who had built his dream from the ground up, it was a devastating blow. In later interviews, Mwakazi called this the lowest moment of his life, the hardest period. Having to call staff, many with families depending on their wages, and delivering the news of job loss weighed heavily. The collapse didn't just cost him reputation. Financially and emotionally, it was a storm. For a man who had once risen from scarcity, this felt like returning to the starting point. At Wholesome TV's collapse, Mwakazi didn't disappear. Instead, he redirected his strength and voice into a different path. He formed his own company, Royal Voice International, a media production, PR, voiceover, and events company. Through Royal Voice International, he continued to offer voiceover services for adverts, promos, documentaries, corporate events, conference moderation, public speaking, and more. His iconic voice remained in demand. In fact, despite leaving Royal Media Services many years ago, his voice via Royal Voice continued to feature in promos and adverts for his former employer and other clients. Beyond business, Mwakazi publicly opened up about personal struggles he faced, including early addiction to pornography in his youth and how his faith eventually helped him overcome that challenge. He described the shutdown of Wholesome TV as a painful but humbling experience and now sees Royal Voice International as a platform not just for his own survival but to feed more people and generations to come. He lost the mic but not the voice. He lost the anchor desk but not the calling. Johnson Mwakazi's journey highlights the fragile heights of media fame. Success can come fast and fall faster. But more importantly, it shows that background does not define destiny. From extreme poverty to national prominence, from despair and loss to reinvention. His story speaks of resilience, surviving slum hardship, neglect, financial instability, working through dreams deferred, schools missed, survival jobs, and still pushing forward. It also warns of risk, especially in volatile industries like media. Dream projects like Wholesome TV can rise on hopes but crumble without sustainable planning, funding, content quality, and stable revenue. Yet Mwakazi's reinvention via Royal Voice also offers a blueprint. Diversify your talent, build skill-based assets, in his case a voice, invest in yourself and adapt. In an uncertain world, adaptability matters. Not every fall marks the end. Sometimes, deep down, it is the seam where reinvention begins.